Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us in our next Business Bootcamp new member orientation. We have a great presentation today for everyone who's attending today, so we're glad you made it. This is our last Business Bootcamp of the year, so it's crazy how time has flown by. We're already, nearing the end of 2020, so glad you can make it. And again, a big thank you to our um, sponsors of the Business Bootcamp this month, Comerica Bank, brought to you by the Comerica Business Sense program. So we appreciate the continued support of Comerica Bank. I'm not sure if there's a couple of Comerica Bank colleagues on the call today. So again, appreciate the support. Just a couple really brief housekeeping rules. I know you are all aware of them. Just make sure you have your mic on mute. Any questions, or if you want to include your contact information, make sure you include it in the chat. And you'll receive today's slides and recording in our post-event email. So make sure to be on the lookout for that. And also make sure to complete our survey. Let us know how we're doing for a chance to win some great prizes. We do have great prizes. So make sure you complete the survey and let us know what you thought. So with that, I'd like to go ahead and hand it off to Luis Rivera. He's with American Family Insurance, and he'll be talking all about how to stand out from competitors, as we gear up to the holidays or start planning out for next year. It's always important to make a plan and evaluate what's next. So I'll go ahead and stop sharing my screen, and then that way, Luis, you could go ahead and take it from here. Thank you so much.
Awesome, perfect. Thank you so much. Hopefully everyone can see my screen here. If not, please let me know. So yeah, again, my name is Luis Rivera. Definitely grateful, and I'm humble to be part of this, this workshop. Very excited to, give you this this information. Hopefully you find it helpful, right? Hopefully 90% of this, you already knew, but this 10%, hopefully you can put it into practice and make profit, with your small business, your brand. Doesn't matter if you're starting or if you're already an established business, right? You definitely want to, it's a good thing to stand out from competitors, especially, in this new environment, this pandemic, and, hopefully we can hit 2021, hit the ground running, right? So just a little bit of my background, right? My background is, with sales, customer service, digital media, management. So that's kind of just a little bit of the traits that I picked up along the way. I was a sales manager for a cell phone retail store. I was in charge of two locations at the time, and that really helped me understand the business need, right, when it came to to the cell phone and to the technology world, right, as we know it. I was able to recruit talent, trained, be on the front line of sales, and understand big industries such as Apple, Microsoft, Samsung. I was able to get a sneak peek into what was going to be in the future during that role. After that, I was able to, I have I'm very, very fortunate to be part of a Fortune 500 company, just like American Family Insurance. The company has really helped me to understand how to lead properly, right? How to strategize in any type of market, right? And the importance of branding. I think branding, and I'm a very big supporter of branding, and it just helps us uniformed and connect with our customers and living its values. American Family has really taught me how to live and stay true to its values and to the core values, which I will touch base a little bit more on this topic, but that's definitely the company that has really stand out to me. And then from there, I do have my own business. It's called RVRA Media, which I've held many clients, from barbershops, from restaurants, from wedding planners, you name it. I've sat down with business owners and, come up with, business strategies with marketing campaigns. And it's been a very humbling experience. And, I'm grateful that I've been able to help business owners with it. I want to get started, with a couple of topics, and hopefully at the end, we can get a little bit more time to, if just in case you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. So I want to get started with the first topic here, which it's a little controversial. We've always been taught to kind of fit in, right? To kind of fit in, since we were in pre-K, in middle school, and as a young age, and maybe you do this with your kids, right? We're taught to fit in, right? To sit down, to not make a scene, and unfortunately, this doesn't really work in the market industry, right? So not standing out is kind of the same as being invisible in the marketplace. This is a very busy market, and as I have it here, fitting is failing when it comes to a business, right? Why would you want to be uh, behind the buzz of big industries? If you're a coffee shop owner, right? Why would you want to be a knockoff version of Starbucks? Why do you want to be a knockoff version of Dutch Bros? So little things like that is it's not gonna be profitable, right? So not standing out again is almost being the same as being invisible, right? Being different is what makes us unique as an individual and as a brand. Now, it's as we know, there's 7.6 billion people in this earth, right? And the only thing that brings us together is that we're totally unique, and people connect with that, right? At the end of the day, we are people. We understand that you might be a business owner, you might be a brand supporter, but at the end of the day, we support each other, right? And we are totally unique, so we need to embrace it. Um, we need to put this in practice when it comes to standing out. We need to make sure we're up to speed with creativity, right? We need to make sure that our insight is up to speed with your business and inspiration. Again, we need to embrace what makes us unique in a business standpoint to stand out from the competition. Um, when your business when your business is a commodity, right? When you are comfortable with your business, you really will. So let's just say this: if you're starting with a business or you're already an established business, and you're very comfortable with the sales, you're very comfortable with what's happening, but you want to go, you want to just go above and beyond, you really can't expect different treatment. You're gonna get commodity treatment, and you can only charge commodity prices. Now, when your business is one of a kind, you can set your own rules and you can become a little bit more profitable. So again, this brings me back to becoming unique. Standing out from the competition essentially means not fitting in, right? I want to give you a small example as far as someone that was comfortable, an industry that was comfortable and was not complacent with, being where they're at. So as we know, in the pizza world, we had large companies, right? We had Pizza Hut, who was a fine dining restaurant back in the day, right? And then we had, Peter Piper, which, again, they introduced the arcade system, so all the kids, will love the product and consume it. And there were other pizza industries that, they were fitting in, such as Domino's. So Domino's was, they had really good product. They did have, some customers, but they were struggling in the industry. They were struggling. They were just fitting in, right? So they wanted to come on top, but they just didn't know how, right? So I'm sure they invested some money on, changing products, changing, the sauce, the dough, cheese, and all this great stuff, right? I'm sure they sat down and, came with different colors for the logos and little things like that. Now, the thing that set them apart from everyone was when they realized that they were unique on something, and they established becoming leaders in fast pizza, right? They were the first ones that introduced the 30-minute delivery in pizzas. So from there, they automatically set themselves apart from everyone. They were the ones that introduced the if we don't deliver your pizza in 30 minutes, your pizza will be free kind of thing, right? And again, the little things that they were making, right? It wasn't so much about the product. It wasn't so much about the logo or the brand. It's just something that made them unique. From there, actually in 2019, Domino's is the #1 pizza enterprise that comes on top. From there, it's Pizza Hut, and then we can trickle it down. But in 2019, Domino's is the one that's leading in the pizza market. And again, it's just funny, right? That a simple change can make a lot of a difference. Now, how do you stand out, right? We already understand that fitting in it's not going to work. Fitting in it's failing, and essentially you're invisible. Because there's a very, very busy marketplace. There are 28 million small businesses in the U.S. alone. Do you still want to fit in? Do you still want to do the same things that other small businesses are doing? The key to stand out is to look back on your past, right? What's your story? So as we know, if you're starting a new business, or if you already have an established business, established brand, you know that it's not easy. We all have a story behind it. We know that you invested a lot of time, a lot of money, sacrifice time with your family, blood and tears, right? We know it's not easy. So we need to learn how to embrace that. We need to learn how to connect with people, with your story. Now, some people will focus a lot of time on, again, just the product, right? Just obsessing about a logo, obsessing about the brand of it. But and it's okay, but I feel like that's when you already are an established and successful and profitable business, right? You have the luxury to obsess about the little things. But when you are a struggling business on a busy market, you need to stand out. And the easy thing to do is, look back in your past, kind of identify what makes you different, the reason why you started a business, the reason why you wanted to start a brand, right? And I'm sure every single one of you, if you're a business owner or you're thinking to build a business or a brand, can relate with this. It's scary. It takes courage to build something, but there's always a story behind that. There's always a story behind that. Just remember this, that no one has walked your path. No one has worn your shoes. And people connect with that. People will definitely connect with that. Um, we all know Apple, we all know Steve Jobs, right? And he understood this. He understood that people will connect with something outside just the brand, right? Um, Steve Jobs understood what Nike was doing back in the day, right? If you think about this, it's you're never gonna see, or you really don't see commercials that explained in detail what the product is. You would never see an ad saying, "Hey guys, look at the brand new shoe that just came out with these technology soles and this and that, and the texture of the shoe, and the colors and the design of it." You really don't see that on Nike commercials. What do you see? You see a brand that talks about athletes. You have a brand that honors athletes and they honor great athletics. So automatically they connect with those people. Automatically you have a brand that connects with athleticism, with hardworking, with aspirations. So Steve Jobs really understood this in the early ages of marketing, right? And on the Think Different campaign, and you can find this, um, once you have some time, so please Google this, right? This is in the marketing philosophy with Steve Jobs and the Think Different campaign. He was giving a conference to his employees as far as introducing a new marketing campaign. And I want to quote this. Steve Jobs says, our customers want to know who Apple and what it stands for. Where do we fit in the world? We believe that people with passion can change the world for the better. Those people who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones that actually do. Now, Steve Jobs understood this. And from there, the marketing campaign was not just introducing the product, but standing up for something, right? He was a very big believer that people that really want to change the world can actually do it, right? And he wanted to provide the tools to do it. Um, he wanted to know where the product fit in the world, and he went back to his roots and put to practice his core values, right? What do they stand for? So again, little things like that, um, people connect with it, right? People will connect with your story, so embrace it. Definitely embrace your story. Don't be embarrassed of sharing your story. Please share your failures, your successes, and again, people will definitely connect with that. Once you have something established, right? Once you know what your story is, once you know what sets you apart from anything else, something that you can definitely put to practice is, you want people to talk about you. How are you going to achieve that? How are you going to achieve, social media just blowing up, from your brand or your name, word of mouth, conversations, little things like that? How are you going to do that? First, you need to create curiosity. You need to create curiosity in your brand and your product. What sets you apart, right? Do you have a strategy in mind, right? Sometimes we get very, very excited about, a business idea and the product, but we forget how to market it. How are we going to create that curiosity, right? How do we make people want your product? It's something that you definitely need to sit down and come up with a business strategy or a marketing strategy, right? What does my product have that is going to make people want my product, right? How can I create that curiosity with them? I would share a couple of stories with this, but Red Bull was a master at this. Um, the taste of Red Bull wasn't when it was introduced to the market, it wasn't the best, right? It wasn't something that, oh, I'm craving a Red Bull, and especially when it's just coming out, nobody knew about it. So they had a strategy behind it, right? So they started gathering a bunch of empty cans and putting it visible outside of, skating parks, outside of, important places and busy places, little things like that. And little by little people started picking up on, oh man, there's a lot of people that are consuming this product, and come to find out, this product will give you energy. um, so from there, we know, Red Bull as a multi-billion-dollar industry, right? But again, it all started with a simple marketing strategy, right? Making people curious about your product. Again, I'm not saying to maybe get wrappers of your product and put them out there, but I'm sure you can come up with something, a marketing strategy for your product or your service. Customer experience. UX is a term used a lot, in marketing and in big industry, which is user experience. going back, um, starting a brand new business, or maybe you're already an established business, it's easy to get lost on just the product. It's easy to get lost in just the service, right? We need to create that customer experience. We need to make sure that our customers are having a good, positive experience with it. Now, um, another story with that, right? My wife and I, we were on a market for, you know, for to design our own, little logos on our apparel, right? I wanted to design a little little hats and vests, sweaters, little things like that for me and my wife. And we came across this virtual shop in Etsy, right? And the ease of use of the website was pretty good, just by looking at that designer in the clothes, what we're offering. We were able to learn a little bit about that story, right? It was a stay-at-home mom who she've always wanted to be a designer, right? But life happened, so she couldn't become an actual designer. So she didn't give up. She started an online business, right? So she's an online designer. So I was able to learn that, by, surfing through the website and, watching a couple of videos that she had on the website, and, definitely connected with that, right? And, we're all about, supporting small business. So, we picked up a couple of things, right? A couple of shirts, a couple of sweaters with the design. So it was definitely an experience. But when that person, with that business owners or that brand really wow us, was with the packaging, right? As soon as I opened the mailbox, there was just a totally different packaging, right? Got the box. It looked like a very, very smooth finish, and I was like, okay. I mean, is this an Apple product, or what is it? I didn't even know what it was. When I opened it, the packaging was impeccable. It was very, very nice. Um, you know, Once we opened it, there was a couple of thank you cards customized just for us. It had my wife's and my name on it. In the back, a thank you and who are you supporting, with these purchases. So uh, little things like that really impress us, right? Little things like that make us remember that vendor, that brand, that business. So again, the little things really, really matter. Why? Because when I'm in the market to purchase something, I already know that I'm going to receive good product, good customer service, and that experience is always going to be there. And then again, make people remember you. You know, make people remember you, and if you can't do it through your product, do it through your service, right? Um, I'll be honest with you. I am not the best photographer in the world, in my media business. Not the best photographer in the market. I am not the best videographer in the market. Definitely not the best graphic designer in the market, right? But I can reassure you that when my clients call me, to sit down and have a marketing strategy or an ad campaign or anything like that, they know that they're going to receive an excellent customer service experience, and I'm going to deliver with the product. Again, if you really can't deliver that wow experience or create that customer experience with your product, definitely do it with your service. I think that's very, very important. Make people remember you, okay? Um, Make them feel you care about them, right? Sometimes when we get desperate, right? When it comes to a business, all we think about is, money, 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 right? And sometimes we forget about the customer. Sometimes we forget about providing that customer experience. And it's something that the customer doesn't feel welcome. The customer doesn't feel special, right? And we need to make sure we make those connections with the customer, right? You want people to talk about your product. You want people to talk about your brand, people to talk about your business. So the only way that you're actually gonna create that word of mouth, create curiosity, create want someone wanting your product is by providing an excellent customer experience. That's the reason why large industries are investing millions and millions of dollars to create good experience, a good customer experience. And I'm going to ask this question. I'm going to take a sip of water because I really want you to ask this, right? I want this to simmer, but I really want to ask, right? Is your business worth switching over? Is your business really worth switching over? Is your product worth switching over? It's something that you know, and hopefully you asked yourself that question, right? And hopefully you're able to know and to kind of spot, you know, something that you're doing wrong, right? Again, we can get lost on the product. And we're really not there on the service, right? Or vice versa. Maybe we do have a really good customer service. We really do have good customer service, but the product isn't there, right? The product really isn't there. It's not, you know, it's not a need or a want, you know. So definitely something we need to keep an eye on, and it's worth asking this question. Um, you know, how to stay ahead of competitors, right? Um, you really need to sit down, you know, grab a cup of coffee, sit down and determine what your weaknesses and your strengths are. You know, definitely, you know, it's important, right? Because um you know, your business is something that's going to support your family. It's going to support, you know, a lot of things, right? So invest the time in it. You know, don't be afraid to, you know, to take a couple minutes or an hour, right? Sit down, grab a cup of coffee and get a piece of paper or your tablet and just start writing. Start writing. You know, the same thing with, you know, finding what's unique about your business, right? Maybe you just don't know. Sit down and write your story about your business. Just start writing to see what sets you apart from everything else. And again, you're going to spot a lot of strengths and weaknesses, right? Maybe your strengths are that you're really, really good, you know, selling the product. You've been a seller your whole life. You know, you have some traits, you know, that can help you with that. But maybe your weaknesses is that technology. Maybe you have technology issues. Maybe you spot that you're not really, really good, you know, with what's happening today, and not being good, staying up to speed. So again, you know, join a class, join a course, you know, pop in your headphones, listen to some podcasts, some audiobooks, and stay knowledgeable. You know, because spotting your weaknesses and your strengths is actually going to help you be more profitable and be up to speed with the market. Um, Make sure you spot the wants and needs. Calibrate your business and your product, right? Is your business or is your product something that people need? Or is your business something that that is just a want, right? And they both have very different, you know, strategy and marketing techniques, right? Um, if you're if your business is something that people want more than need, then again, you're gonna have to create that curiosity. You're gonna have to invest a little bit more time on showing how the product works, and you know, maybe you need a rebrand, right? Maybe you're already an established business and this new environment that, you know, we're all going virtual. Maybe you need a rebrand and you need to fit, you know, with the requirements of this new era that we're living, right? um, Technology strategies, right? What are you doing to stay on top of technology, right? Sit down and calibrate. This is more of a calibration. Does your business have a website? Are you taking advantage of all of the platforms that are out there? Are you taking advantage of, you know, social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Google Business? You know, there's plenty. TikTok now, right? There's plenty of platforms that people are consuming on a daily basis, right? Are your platforms up to speed? right? Because again, as I mentioned, there's 28 million small businesses in the US, but I can reassure you, not all of them have um, uh, accounts in the platforms. Not all of them have a website, right? Um, so again, we need to think of ease of use for the customer. We all have cell phones, we all have our busy lives. We just want to create that fast and easy way or content for other customer to consume your product, right? So it's something that it's worth sitting down and analyzing what's definitely out there for you. Creating a customer database. That's actually something very funny that one of my clients, we were having breakfast and, we're sitting down and she mentioned something that really stuck to me. It's something it's true. So she told me, I wished I could have created some sort of a customer database when I first started, right? I wish I could have just gotten their phone number, their email, their date of birth, and something, right? And just enter it in a simple spreadsheet. Or if you're not up there, with technology, just write it down and keep track of that, right? Because my client grew out of the early stages of a business, right? My client started introducing more products, right? Started introducing more products, hiring more people, recruiting more talent, expanding. And the first people that trusted on her brand, that big chunk of customers, don't know it, right? Because she rebranded, she had new platforms, this and that, and she couldn't keep the old customers up to speed, right? So it's something that you definitely need to do now. Starting now, every single customer that you come across, try to get some sort of a customer database, right? The only reason I mentioned, a website is because you can actually have them sign up. There's services out there um, that you can have them signed up on your website, and that website will keep track of these people, of your clients, right? If there's any updates or if there's any new product that you're introducing to your business, how are you going to let them know? It's something that you gotta utilize your platforms and work off each other with the customer database. And hopefully, everyone's consuming that new marketing strategies and that new product that you're introducing. So it's definitely something that to keep in mind. And again, it's not hard. Might think, oh man, a database sounds, a little too much, this and that. It's a simple spreadsheet that you can start plugging in, on Excel. Capture the first name, the last name, date of birth, right? If you're an event planner, right? Capturing that date of birth is huge, huge. Why? Because 3 months from that date of birth, right, next year or over the years, you can start sending out, what you have, what new products you're introducing, or maybe you can offer some sort of a discount because you worked with them before. Little things like that. You can take advantage of that customer database. Use it to your advantage. I do want to talk about, the don'ts. The don'ts, right? Sometimes we think, hey, you know what? I want to stand out from the competition. I want to do things different. I'm ready, right? You get motivated, but you start doing things that really don't matter to your customers, right? Being different in a way that doesn't really affect your customers will not take you anywhere. Okay. I can use the coffee shop example, right? Um, you know about coffee, this and that, and you want to compete with another coffee shop next door, right? And you're like, hey, you know what? I'm ready. I just went through this workshop. I'm gonna embrace something, and I'm gonna just do something unique. I'm gonna do something different. So you threw all away all your white coffee mugs and this and that, and you purchase blue coffee mugs, right? So yeah, maybe you are the only coffee shop that has only blue mugs, right? But that's really not something that's gonna affect your customers. You know, same things with logos. Sometimes we get obsessed about a logo, right, of your business, of your brand, and it's like, hey, you know what? If I invest another $300 on redesigning my logo, I'm gonna get more business, right? So that's something that we can definitely fall behind and not take advantage of time because we're focusing on things that are not going to create customer experiences, right? We're going to be focusing on things that are not going to really matter at the end of the day. And as I mentioned before, we can have the luxury, right, to redesign a logo. We can have the luxury to get blue mugs if you want to, but once your business is established, don't get trapped in trends. you know Trends tend to pass very, very quickly and become obsolete. um, we can see that with who remembers the fidget spinner, right? The little device that everyone was using a couple years ago. Can you imagine that, that market, right? That business that purchased $10,000 of fidget spinners, and sold them all, right? They were doing fantastic. They were doing great. So they were talking to their family, like, hey, you know what? This is it. This is the gold mine. So now he purchased $20,000 of, another batch of fidget spinners. And then all of a sudden trend was gone, you know, all of a sudden, that trend was definitely gone. So what do you have? You took a $20,000 loss, a hit, and you're probably gonna have to buy storage now to put all your fidget spinners. So don't get too stuck on trends. Don't get trapped on trends. Take advantage of them. Show you that if you're in the market, right, where new things are coming up and your business can offer it, be smart about it. Take advantage of the trends, right? But definitely don't get trapped on that. Don't build a business on a trend. That's something that essentially you're setting up your business for failure. Now, don't spend too much time on the what, but invest on the who, which is you. And again, you've heard me say this before, but it's a scary moment when you're very excited. You're a new business owner, or maybe you're someone established and you're introducing a product, and it's very easy to obsess about the product, obsess about the what, obsess about the little things, obsess about, if I don't have this new product, if I don't invest on this, if I don't do this, I can't move forward, right? It's really, really easy to fall on the what, and we forget about the who, right? People buy because they trust you. People buy because they trust the brand. They don't buy just because of the product alone. Sometimes it does. It's a one-off, right? But you need to make sure you invest enough time on the who. Now, this is a big, big no-no, and we can have a whole workshop about this, but it's something that's worth introducing right now. Attracting customers by reducing cost. Attracting customers by reducing cost is essentially a race to the bottom. It's very difficult to be profitable if we play this card, okay? Let's say I am a guitar maker, right? I make guitars, and the average guitar price on the market is $1,000, right? um, but then here I am, I'm desperate, my stuff is not selling, we're all fitting in, so what am I going to do? I'm going to do something different. I'm going to just cut my price to have, and my guitar is going to be worth $500 now. And it could be deceiving because, yeah, you might get more customers, you might be busy, right? And you're going to work twice as hard to make the same amount of money that other market or other guitar makers are getting, right? But the thing is that you're doing two things. You're being deceived because you're overworking, you're getting more clients, this and that, but the amount of money is not really there, it's not really profitable. And what do? You're disrupting the market. Why? Because those other guitar makers will need to lower the price on their product. So now you have a disrupted market just because you decided to lower your prices. And now your work and your product is down here. Definitely don't get trapped on that. You know, that's not a good strategy to stand out from competition, especially when you're not an established business or anything like that. Attracting customers by reducing cost is a big no-no. And you know, are you ready for the future? You know, are you ready, you know, for what's next? You know, we know that technology is going really, really fast, right? So, you know, who remembers Kodak? Kodak moments, right? um, yeah, a monster industry when it came to, you know, the photo world. You know, who remembers the whole, you know, clicking of the camera and snapping that picture, right? You know, we've all seen the commercials. We've all owned one. But what happens? What happens when Apple introduced a 2 megapixel camera on the phone? You know, it's very interesting. I definitely recommend, you know, going on YouTube and checking out the rise and the fall of Kodak. You know, it's definitely very sad, you know, knowing that a whole industry shut down because they were not ready for the future. You know, there's many stories like that. Blockbuster, you know, a lot of you know about this, but Blockbuster declined and partnering up with Netflix when Netflix was not wasn't anything, right? Netflix had a really good business plan and marketing plan when it came to technology, right? And look at it now; it's a multi-billion-dollar company. Um, you know, ask around, you know, survey and calibrate your business. Ask your kids, what are the new, what's the new thing, what's happening, you know, little things like that. Um, you know, we see our kids, you know, with TikTok, you know, this and that, but, you know, large industries, other companies, other businesses are investing on it, right? Apple just closed a huge $1 million deal with TikTok just so people can consume that product, right? How does the market see you? How does that market see you, right? You've been working so long on your product, on your brand, this and that sometimes you just get a feel of how they really see you. You might feel one way, your market might feel, or your business might feel some way, but the market sees you differently, right? So it's definitely good to ask around, you know, ask for surveys, you know, come up with some sort of a survey to see where you're at, to calibrate your business. And remember that you're not your own customer, right? Sometimes we get outdated because we're so busy, right? We need to stay up to speed, right? And we need to know and be open about introducing new things or doing things that you're not accustomed to, because remember, you're not your own business. There's people out there with different tastes, with different product consumption that is definitely not your taste. But sometimes we have to kind of you know, budge and kind of offer those type of services or products, right? Because you're not your own customer. We have a lot of people out there that have different tastes, and again, it's really good to calibrate, you know, and be ready for the future, and by measuring how your business is doing. What's your measuring stick? Is it time? Is it money? Is it, you know, freedom? Is it less stress? You know, so it's something that, again, as business owners, you get really, really busy and you think you're doing good, right? Because you're very, very busy. You have a lot of clients and money is coming, it's coming in. But at that point is you have no time. You have no time for your family. You have no time to do what you really like. So it's definitely worth, you know, sitting down and, you know, measure your business and what's your measuring stick, you know. I want to talk briefly about marketing platforms because I do want to provide, you know, a little bit of time to see if I can respond to any questions. But, you know, use the marketing platforms as your advantage. You know, um, if you're not getting, you know, attention, you're not getting customers. If you're not utilizing what everyone is doing, you know, at this moment, you know, with Instagram, with Facebook, you know, it's definitely not you're not gonna get any customers if you're not making any noise, right? If you're not getting any attention, if you're not posting something on a daily basis, if you're not really explaining your product. Social media platforms really help us, with immediate reaction. Snap a picture, they'll put it on social media and they'll tag you. You'll get an immediate reaction and word of mouth attached with that. Right? So, there's nothing else like word of mouth. Why? Because you trust that person, that other person trusts you, they'll tell you about your business, and then you'll both do business. Now, social media platforms, word of mouth is incrementing times 100, 150, right? Every profile has at least 100 people, 150, right? So if you post something in there, if someone is recommending your product, 150 people are going to see that and consume it. So definitely take advantage of those marketing platforms. Show them how your product works. Show them what, and this is a very important step, and I can wrap everything up in that. Share your story on your media platforms. Let everyone know what your business is about. Let everyone know what your story is about, how the product is used. It's something that, we might get very, um, uh, excited about, a product, this and that. We'll snap a picture on social media, we'll put it out there. But then after a week, after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, months, 3 months, 4 months, your account is just ghost town, right? Keep that going. Keep producing content, right? So your clients or your people can see what's in there, right? They might not need your service right now, but they might need it in the future. And you need to make sure that you're out there. You need to make sure that when they need that, you're going to have a fresh story out, you're going to have a fresh post out, your platforms are going to be up to date, and you're going to deliver that customer service. And it's a great place for a portfolio. Now, you don't have to go everywhere and show your resume anymore, when you're offering a service or a product or anything like that. A simple, review of your Facebook account or your Instagram account, looking at all the pictures, all the comments, all the everything, it's an automatic portfolio. So it's definitely something to take advantage of when it comes to social media or marketing platforms. So guys, that's kind of that definitely wraps it up as far as how to stand out from competitors, right? Um, you know, find what's unique about your business. I know every single business has something unique. Embrace it. Embrace your story, right? Don't make the errors of I'm desperate. Let me just lower my prices, and hopefully I can make more profit out of that. And again, utilize the platforms, stay up to speed, stay up to date, listen to podcasts and make sure that you know what's coming, and again, use these marketing platforms for people to consume your content. They know who you are and what your product is about. I'll take any questions if there's any.
Great. Thank you so much, Luis. This was really informative. I'll start checking the chat to see if we have any questions, or if you are brave enough, you could also unmute your mic if you like to speak directly to Luis. So we'll allow a couple minutes for that. And then we also have our new member orientation, which will start in about 10 minutes or so. So if you'd like to stick around for that, make sure to just stay on the line. But for now, we'll answer any questions.
Okay, I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
yes,
go ahead.
Go ahead, Noel. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, sorry. I'm in catering, and obviously with events and COVID, it's been a struggle. As you can imagine, probably a lot of people in the event industry was affected by COVID quite a bit. But one of the things that I've noticed is that I feel like every idea that I try to come up with in order to like pivot, it's like the other caterers are already doing it or they copy, and so currently I don't feel like I'm standing out enough. Like, yes, I'm getting calls because I have a good reputation, good reviews, good content, you know, good photos, but what else can be done when you're in a kind of somewhat saturated market? And we're all obviously kind of almost boxing each other for events right now because, you know, they're a little bit slim.
Yeah, no, definitely, and that's a great question, and I can relate this with, you know, I've been fortunate enough to work with a catering company, right, and a event decor company, and they're both kind of on the same boat right now, right? There isn't any, you know, due to COVID, there's a lot of people that are doing the same thing, and you know, it's, you know, we have this conversation about not fitting in, right? So at that point, we have to come up with a strategy, right? Again, we have to sit down, and you have to sit down and see, okay, what type of food am I providing? What's different about it? And again, we have to make sure we align with the, you know, the COVID regulations, right? Can you offer something that other caterers are not doing? Can you capitalize on being extra careful, you know, with, you know, bringing your own, you know, stations, sanitary stations, this and that, and capitalize about, hey, you know what, we understand that, you know, the COVID's happening, we have a difficult situation going on, but my business, my catering business it's already up to speed. We're already taking care of everything in regards to COVID, right? You know, maybe capitalize on that. We know your food is great. You have really good reviews in your product, but the thing is, you need to start thinking outside the box with COVID. Everyone wants to feel comfortable with someone, you know, with a vendor around, and what better way to do it if you capitalize on, hey, you know, we're being clean. This is what we do. Maybe, you know, on your social media platforms, invest time on recording a video on how you clean your things. You take extra preparation before you go into an event to make sure that you already, you know, on the other side of COVID kind of thing.
And that was something that we prepared right away. So we do have COVID guidelines in place, and those are on our website, and something that we talk about through social media and obviously with our clients. But like, I don't know even if it was like someone trying to like sabotage me or what, but I had a wedding planner call me and they were like, so-and-so, another catering company, told me that you guys don't even wear masks when you service events since COVID. And I was like, well, that's not true. I'm like, we have a whole COVID policy and all of our staff have to wear masks, et cetera. So like, you know, I just feel like everything that we're trying to do just doesn't feel unique enough. And it's not that we're not getting any work. There are jobs coming in, but I just feel like it could be a lot more. And someone asked in the chat what my website is. It's freshfromthekitchenllc.com, but I can put it in the chat too. But so yeah, so that's why I was just trying to see if there was any ideas of how to kind of really stand out more, because I just feel like I've been banging my head to think of how am I different, how am I unique? And yes, we have wonderful products. Yes, we have a really stellar, even like celebrity list, celebrities that we've serviced that no one else has serviced in Arizona. But right now, maybe people don't even care about that. They just,
and you know what, that's yeah, that's great. You know what, I mean, you're saying a lot of things, and again, you know, I do want to display my information just, you know, to see if you want to sit down and chat a little bit more, right? And this is for everyone. If you just want to grab a coffee and, you know, continue this conversation, you definitely can. But yeah, there's a lot of things that you mentioned that you can capitalize on, and you know, I want to make sure everyone gets this something answered. But just think about the paperclip analogy, right? There's always a marketing strategy for something. Can you imagine when there's already 4 multi-billion-dollar paperclip companies, and then the 5th one was being introduced? You know, there's, you know, it's a crowded market, right? It's another paperclip, but they did something right to be up there with a multi-billion-dollar company with paperclips. So, you know, really good question. You know, I really recommend you to, you know, sit down and, you know, look at your business and capitalize on some of the things, the celebrity, the COVID policies. Go more in depth with that. You know, if you already received some sort of a feedback, hey, you guys don't use masks, well, you need to capitalize on that. You need to make sure that on your platforms, you're showing that you do use a mask. So again, here's my information. If you want to talk a little bit more, definitely open. So shoot me an email or a text.
Great. Thank you so much, Luis. And we'll also share Luis's information in our post-event email shortly. I do have one question here. Maybe, this could also help Noelle. Can you speak to reputation management tools that may be able to help her and businesses like hers combat some of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a lot of tools out there that can definitely assist you. Reputation tools is definitely one of them. Yeah, something that I'm actually surfing right now and which is really really great. It's utilizing the Google Business tool, right? Google Business is, it's really really great right now, especially nowadays. They updated their they really invested the time for COVID, right? So there's a whole section about COVID that you can introduce with your in your business. So it's something that definitely it's worth investing time. And yes, if you have a large company, right, which is Google, investing money on a property such as COVID sections in there, definitely something that's very very useful in these new days.
Awesome, thank you. And then just some comments that we've gotten so far. This one is coming from Lisa, one of our members. For her, here it says, for me, confirming my product is unique. It is my story and based on my history. I love the no decreasing cost to attract customers. Do not dilute, keep exclusivity, keep a customer database, and I need to improve on that. So thank you for sharing that, Lisa. And then lots of great positive reviews for you, Luis. And then we have a comment here from Veronica, maybe even add a plugin with some of the COVID preparation on the website with pictures of mask wearing or gloves. So those are good tips as well. So if we don't have any other questions, we can use this time to, oh, we do have a question here. Luis, what is the best way to survey our clients?
Best way to survey clients. You know what? It has to. You can tackle this in different ways, right? There's survey platforms out there, that you can utilize. There's free platforms. There's things that charge that are a little bit more geared towards what you want for your product. But I'll be honest with you, not two birds with one stone. Have a conversation with that customer. Just survey them, right? If you're selling a product, if it's virtual, if it's a coffee shop, it's a restaurant or anything, have a chat with them. See how the service is going. See how you're doing. And then you're gonna learn more about, what the customer needs and wants are. You can survey your business, see how you're doing, and you can create that customer experience. So again, there's several platforms online that you can utilize. But if you have the chance, right, to talk to someone over the phone, over Zoom, over of anything, right? Just do it.
Awesome. And I think one last question, and then we'll go ahead and close it up with our presentation for today. From Ilda, I was just going to launch our brick and mortar. How can we relaunch now?
Can you repeat that question? It was kind of off.
Sure. She mentions that she was about to launch her brick and mortar, but how can she relaunch that?
Yeah, there's a lot of business like that. I just had a client, a barber shop, right? They were getting ready to open up, and everything was kind of pulled on hold for a second, right? And it's no secret that COVID is it's definitely a topic that's hot right now. But stay up to speed with what's out there, right? They yesterday just announced about a potential vaccine for COVID, right? So definitely we need to make sure we're ready for that, right? I can't really tell you right now, hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and launch that, right? It would be something that we need to sit down and make sure that one, the capital is there. Two, what's your business and marketing strategy to actually launch or relaunch that? So again, I wish I could tell you, hey, you know what, go for it, right? There's a new vaccine, let's do it. But it's something that we definitely have to sit down and capitalize on what you're at. Look at your capital and definitely check your business and marketing strategy before we actually launch.
So research is key. Thank you.
Totally.
And then Caesar just asked if your service is offered in Spanish as well, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So all my services are offered bilingual. So yeah, English, Spanish. I've heard a lot of clients that are only Spanish speaking services. And if I have a second here, I can talk about that, right? I have one of my clients who was like, hey, you know what? I don't speak any English. I just don't. I don't know if I can make it happen, right? And it's simple things, right? Just capitalize on that. There's other consumers that don't speak English, so capitalize that you're you're a Spanish product, whatever, you can capitalize on that. You're going to be attracting only speaking customers, right? And again, I keep bringing barbershops because it's one of them. Some people won't step into a barbershop because they can't even ask what type of a haircut they want, right? But if you're a barber, if you capitalize on, hey, we speak Spanish, I'm a bilingual barber, trust me, you're gonna have a little bit more of a clientele coming in.
Awesome. Well, we're now at 11, so appreciate your time, Luis, this morning. I think Christina had some last minute remarks to provide for everyone today.
Yeah, just really quickly, Elizabeth, first of all, thank you to Luis for providing such wonderful information to all of you. Thanks to all of you for attending. If you don't know me, my name's Christina. I'm the Director of Marketing and Operations at the Chamber. Just wanted to pop in real quick and say thank you. If you're interested in other tools, definitely reach out to Luis, right? He's an expert in the area. Schedule some time with him. We have some other members as well that might be able to help you if you have different needs. He talked a little bit about reputation management. I know we have an offer with one of our members. If you want to reach out to Eric or Angie, they can connect you with them to look at that offer they're extending to chamber members. And then I know for a little while we were offering some great workshops. Luis also mentioned this with Google Small Business. They have a lot of awesome resources at your fingertips, especially during COVID. Some of them are free, some are not. Videos that you can watch on demand. So I know everyone's trying to figure out how to stand out and how to drive business during this challenging time. So lots of great resources out there. Let us know if we can help you. And again, definitely reach out to Luis. He's a wealth of information, and schedule some time with him. So Elizabeth, that's about it from me. Just thank you to everybody, and you can go ahead and wrap it up for us.
Yes, thank you, Christina, for sharing that. And you'll find more information in our post-event email. But with this, we'll like to conclude our business bootcamp portion of our event today. Again, thank you so much, Luis, and thank you again, our team with Comerica Bank, for helping us sponsor this event this morning. So if you'd like to stick around for our new member orientation, we'll start in a little bit, in about a minute or two. So we'll just have our team just prepare briefly for that, and we'll answer any questions you may have regarding the chamber. So I'll stop recording.